But Erev Shabbos this week we read from Parshas Korach. Korach is a very disturbing story about how a great person fell from prestige and had an awful ending to a great life when he got carried away and challenged Moshe and really got drunk with his ego and haughty with power. And he led this rebellion with this faction. He challenged Moshe by saying, Rav Lachem, he carried this populist spirit. He said, Ki chola eda kulam kedoshim, everybody is holy. You know, we're all b'sochim Hashem, we're all close to God. Who appointed you necessarily as higher than thou? So he carried the mantle of, you know, I'm for the people. And this is a side note, we've seen this throughout history, many people carrying the cloak of populism, of anti-establishment. It's important to be wary of leaders of these movements, as we've seen from Korach in this case. But Korach, we have to understand, originally was a very holy man. He was from the group of Kahas. He was from the group of Kahas that was from the tribe of Levi, that was, the Midrash says, was Nosei Aaron that carried the ark. And that was a very exalted group of people. So how is it that he became so drunk with his own ego and so haughty that he was able to challenge Moshe, and he crossed the point of no return, and he eventually met his demise in a very, very troubling way? And the commentaries teach us, the rabbinic commentaries teach us, it all comes back to a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, a very sobering Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, which teaches us that there are three things that can remove a person from this world: hakina, hataiva, v'akavod, jealousy, lust, and power. And sometimes you can have the most rational person, a person that thinks with lots of, he thinks in a very rational, forward-thinking way. But if a person is consumed with jealousy, lust, or power, they lose they lose their rationale, they lose their way of making decisions, and it can consume them. And that's the way it was with Korach. Korach, he was consumed with jealousy. It was just a small thing. It was just like, why does Moshe have this honor that I don't? Why does Moshe have this prestige that I don't? And he didn't deal with it. He didn't know how to, he didn't know how to focus with it internally. And eventually, it consumed him. It overtook him. Not only did it overtake him, it created a faction within the Jewish people, and it actually caused many people to die. I think this is such a sobering lesson for all of us, because sometimes, we have natural feelings of envy. We see our neighbors, our family members, other people in our community have different things that we don't. And there's natural feelings of envy. In fact, that's the way we were created, with feelings of envy. Torah says, "Lo sachma," you shall not covet. But if we're not able to rein in on our natural feelings of envy, it can actually consume us. And when it actually consumes us, it can end in a very, very destructive and harmful way, in a way that can end far beyond any way we can imagine. The way that the Mishnah says, "Motzianas Adam and Allah." You want to know how bad it can end? Look no further than this week's Parsha of Korah. So when we sometimes think of our own feelings of envy, let's try to deal with it before it gets out of hand. I wish you all a good Erev Shabbos.